Hi. Right, my name's Holly. I painted this painting. I think my viewing distance is about sort of behind the altar, so not really intended to be very close up. My automatic thought, as soon as I heard the prompt, was, I think a lot of people thought of David Hockney, and then to see that quite a few people have used the I absolutely loved the painting. I looked at it at A-level, when I did A-level textiles, and I made this dress with running water in it that now I realise was absolutely terrible. And I took pictures of it on a mannequin in my mum and dad's bath. But ever since then, I've never seen the real thing, but it was something that, and then obviously even then we had to reference to artists, so I was like, oh, what artists made? Looked at movement in puddles and oil splashes, and so I'd always been interested with movement and water. I love texture, I love this, the texture of the splash, but I'd never really looked at it really closely. And for me, water, like, I'm always happiest or when I'm near water, as in, like, it's very calming, it's contenting. I teach my children to be respectful of the sea, and we want to explore, but it's very big thing, and so it's always like, if we feeling in a rage, we'll go down Hesselford shore, or I love Harry's things because I love to collect shiny rocks. I love to go and be beach combing, finding bits. Sarah's always collecting little bits and then teaching children, also learning what's okay to collect, what's not okay to collect, what's rubbish, so all of these things are all very. I did think of a lot of things, but I ended up really studying this painting, and it was such a challenge because this isn't me at all. There's no part of this painting that is anything that I do. My work is very autobiographical, it's very raw, it's very visceral. I do plan things to a degree, but I don't so this was masking tape, clean lines. I don't do that at all. I use old paint, I use things that I find. I don't stop and think to plan very much. If I've got something, I want to get it down. So it's what's there, I did a degree 25 years ago now, and I used to get into trouble all the time taking photos and not using the right white balance and not using, but I'd say by the time I'd done that, whatever I wanted to take a picture of would have gone. So I'm in the moment, I'm there, so having to really plan and really think about it, I just find it so difficult. And I really hate it. I absolutely hate it. And I'm like, why have I chosen to exhibit for the first time in 15 years probably, something that does not represent me at all? But then the challenge has been so beneficial for me, and so I've been through a lot of periods of sort of really bad financial hardship, and to buy, it was just whatever paint. So it's kids paint, it's kids brushes, it's bits that people do, it's bits, and I don't like to throw things away, so I've become a real hoarder because of that. So I've got all of this paint, and I love the textures of the gritty old paint. But I was squirting it out and putting it on here and going, oh no, I can't do that. I need flat colours, so yeah, it was really, and just as much interested in the process of doing something as I am so for me, this is not me, it's not, but the process was, which is why I wanted to display my process sketchbooks at the same time. And I interestingly learned a lot about David Hockney that I didn't necessarily know about how it took. So it took him 2 weeks to paint the painting, and the most of it was spent on the splash. Whereas it took me about 3, I was really condensed. Remembering, and my dad said to me, he didn't only have the time between 9 and 3 when the children were at school. The splash took me the quickest part, and it was the part I enjoyed and the part I knew. I feel like I projected David Hockney's things onto it but I also projected a photograph of the Lido at Albert Ave, so I could put the two things together. Felt like I was cheating, projecting. I've never done that before either, but I really, really enjoyed it. When I go into, the first time I did it, I just did it in a room like this, and I was like, I can't really see it, oh, I'm in the way, oh, can't, you know, like, and it was, and then I went into a dark room the second time. I came out, I was like, oh, I feel like I've been in a spa. I really, really enjoy going in that dark room, shutting everything off, sitting there, just me, and I'm like, what is my life? I've got a painting that I've done, and then now I'm projecting David Hockney's splash over it, so that, it's not necessarily, but it's every single line is exactly the same as he did. So it doesn't necessarily fit in this, but it's exactly, yeah, and I'm just like, this is great, I love it. And then half an hour later, I'm off doing something absolutely awful that I really hate. And I think on that day, I was in the bank trying to prove to myself that I was me, and I was trying to fix my mortgage, and I'm like, half an hour ago, I was lying in my spa dark room going, I love this, I'm projecting this, I love this, it's amazing, and then I'm in my real life, so that's taking away. So the contrast of this municipal pool on Albert Ave, which is near where I live now, it's near where I grew up, it wasn't open when we were kids. The only thing I had to do with it was my brother used to go kayaking there, so, and in the water that was, you couldn't see through, it's disgusting, and then obviously now it's had a revamp, and it's, which is why I'd got photographs of it, but a lot of it's never changed, so the steps have never changed. Mostly they've just revamped it. The kayak built that building, the kayak club, just to keep the kayaks in, and then the contrast of this being a private pool in David Hockney's thing in LA, in California, and it's got like a pool house across the back, and I just liked the contrast of this amazing LA, expensive, and so I did some research about Hockney's life at the time. He'd been discovered, he'd suddenly found himself, he wasn't in Grid anymore, which is, you know, very, a local connection of him being from Yorkshire. He was in Bradford, then he was in Bridlington, he was in these kind of, you know, outdoor pools, and then suddenly he was projected to LA, and he's taking, you know, so that the mystery behind the splash and what it was and who it was, and he was just, you know, chilling with this really, really rich man who jumped in the pool, and then he'd taken to what his life used to be, and then to what our lives are, to what the pool used to be, to what it is now. Now it's been, we can all use it again, still reasonably cheap, and I just really liked the contrast, and I really enjoyed the contrast between this and my own work, my own practice. The making of this and how it took me out of my normal practice and my normal life. This pool, the pool in, and yeah, I just really, really enjoyed it. I really, really enjoyed the process, but hate the picture. So yeah, thank you.
Don't get carried away.
One of the beautiful things when we first saw it was the wit of bringing that Albert Ave bath, the Lido that had kind of brought about the prompt in the first place.
Nobody
And
knew,
kind of
but everybody
marrying-
assumed.
Yeah, sort of marrying those two disparate places, but the same sort of, maybe the same sort of feel. Though we've got in, see in the Hockney, as it's represented in Roger's painting, the diving board, and that kind of difference in scales, I think, by using the steps in yours.
I lined up the diving board with the steps, so that on the projection the diving board was here. So I lined it up. I had to bring it slightly forward because obviously it was behind. But,
The idea of the kind of more kind of exuberant and the more careful,
Yeah,
or the more
yeah.
local.
I think I was imagining one of
international.
my wild children having jumped off here. But also when you
That
go,
one.
no, not that one. That one's very sensible. He's the most wild of them all. But when you go, also that you would never see it at MUT either. I wanted to take a photo of myself, but as we know, getting into a council place, particularly a pool, even when it's empty, is impossible. So this is off Google Images. It was a council photo, but to see it empty, because when you go, because we've got such short periods of time when I know people go on the evening, don't they, to swim, but that's not something that would be in my life. Being, you know, I don't get to do things on the evening. So when you go, it's full and it's great. It's great. It's annoying that there's no space to swim or whatever, but you go on a really nice day. So it's great that it's a nice day and we get to use it, which we don't get much in the north. Obviously, they get a lot of in California, and it's fun. People enjoying themselves and using it. Whereas this is one man who gets to keep it for himself, isn't it? And we don't know how he made his money, but just a big contrast between that full of screaming, squealing children is I think I know which I'd rather. I think I'd rather have the squealing children than the
Mostly. One day a year it'd be nice
yeah,
to have
yeah,
another.
yeah.
Does anybody have any questions for Holly?
You
I would
don't
like
want to feel guilty about the rejection thing.
Oh, right.
Because Hockney wrote a book, wasn't it? What is it? Optical Camera Obscura.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Pointed out by telling that cats were left out or right in Old Masters and thinking, well.
Oh yeah, I found out since a lot of people do it. Yeah.
They were doing it all the time when
everybody.
they discovered how to.
Yeah.
It's
just
and
something.
It's a perfectly valid.
It's just something in
artist.
me is that I don't like to feel like I'm cheating about anything. So I kind of don't like to research anything before I've done it. I'll research it afterwards because then I don't want to feel like I've copied someone, and I don't want to feel like I've. It's just something within me. Guilt. That's what. That's a big part, isn't it? But no, I'm trying to get away from it, and I'm using it a lot now. Now I've found that I've got a good place to do it, and
Fun to find a new way.
yeah, and constantly changing and things as well, and finding new. But it was just that I think with an awful lot of things, finding an easier way and not punishing yourself through something, you feel like you're cheating, and you feel like, but I do need to come through and say, no, I'm facilitating and using a tool that's available to me. A big thing that I use in my life that I was told by a healthcare professional was, we use what facilities we've got available to us at the time at the best, and that's what I stick by. Maybe I didn't do the best one day that I should have done, but I used what I had available, what resources I had available to me at the time. So now, projection is a resource I have available to me. So hopefully.
Art's never easy though, is it? You go into
It's not
expecting
supposed
it
to
to
be,
be
is
easy. It's always a bit of a...
We don't want to be tortured artists though, we want to be joyful artists.
I'm really pleased there were elements of what you were doing that
Yeah.
you did enjoy.
Yeah, I definitely enjoyed
So I
it.
went to one day and you were like,
Well,
I hate to doing this, it's
being
not
on a
me.
time scale as well though, I think, is I need that, because otherwise I wouldn't finish it. But
And sometimes it's by doing the thing that is different to what we normally do that we find out the most about why we really enjoy the way that you work. You use those paints, the rough and textured paints, not because, as you might have said, because that's all you can afford or that's what's available, but also because it kind of marries with your
and
impulse.
things change, and then now I can go and buy some new paints. All of this was done with, most of it was done with new paints. Other ones that I've put a lot of blue because I'd mix it and go, that's gritty. I'm not pouring it away, pour it into a bottle and save it. But yeah, now I can. That's a real canvas. I've never primed a real canvas before. I'd never used gesso before. It was all really, somebody made me the frame, and I did stretch it myself. I was just like, for me? Very like, so yeah, it was a lovely process to be able to say that I'm going to go and I'm going to treat myself to some new paint that's £3 or whatever. It was a really enjoyable process.
Thank you very much.
I'm interested about the whole city fan.
That's not me.
Is that not you?
No.
Excuse me.
Nothing to do with me.
That is Roger, but it was really interesting. In a way, you were looking at that same difference between what's here, what's the local Lido, and Hockney's Pool.
Yeah.
But I'll let you talk to Roger separately because he said he wasn't going to talk about his work. Maybe he'll be persuaded.
I think the thing I thought is, I mean, I don't know, I can't say, but that seems very quick and very flippant, whereas this was very, very long and very painstaking and very, so I think the contrast between that as well was very like, I've put a lot of hours into that.
I know how you feel.
Yeah.
He has an idea, executes it.
If I'm completely honest, I was a little bit pissed off when it was next to me. Diminished all my hard work.
Never. No, I think it's that thing, isn't it, of like how
And he's like,
placement helps them to
Yeah,
hopefully understand
and make
where
a
different artists
make
come from.
discussion.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, not used to.
I would urge you to look at Holly's sketchbook as well. It's really interesting.
Yeah, so whilst I work, I don't waste anything because of this, past reasoning, so every little, I wipe my brush on the paint, and I use journaling a lot, and the project I'm doing at the moment is using junk journaling because I want everything to be very, very accessible to everybody. I want everybody to be able to do something, and you can use whatever you can afford or whatever you can find. So every scrap of paint gets used. So this book is only from, there's a little bit at the beginning where I started using some magazines, but every single scrap is from, there's lots and lots of masking tape, there's lots of, and I use it as backgrounds just to stick boring writing on top of. And so I really want to encourage this no waste art thing. I can imagine Hockney squirted out too much paint, go and wash it down the sink. But yeah, okay, thank you.